In your life.
Hey everyone, welcome to the call. We're getting started just a couple minutes early here just to make sure that we have everything working perfectly fine. So we're just going to be a couple minutes before we get into the content. Hopefully everyone's doing well, and I'm just going to go over a few little housekeeping items. So on this video that you're seeing, remember there's about a 15-second delay between what we're talking about and what you're actually going to be seeing. So when we are responding to questions, when you start submitting questions, remember that, just to keep that in mind so that you're not worried. We're going to be answering as many questions as we can, but remember, we've got a structure about this, and we're going to hold questions until the end of the call. We have quite a few good announcements to go through. We have a special guest, which you're going to want to listen to, and plus we have some items that we really want to cover on this call because they've been recurring items that have been coming up all week, and so as we promised, we want to make sure that there's no stones left unturned in regard to the training. So hopefully you're going to get everything you need out of this. So we're just going to wait about another minute, and then we're going to get going. So I am going to just make sure everything looks good here. Matt, do you want to just do a sound check, make sure everything's good on your end?
Sure, absolutely. So yeah, welcome everybody to the Module 1 coaching call. So congratulations on making it here with us. If you're going to be watching the replay, no problem. These calls are all recorded. They're all going to be inside of the membership. This one will be in the bottom of Module 1. Give us a few hours after we get done here, and we will get that uploaded into Module 1. So no problem if you miss the beginning of it or any part of it or you have to leave early. It'll be recorded for you to check out. But you definitely want to make sure that you watch this all the way through because we've got a lot of exciting things. We're bringing back Rich and Mike. We're also bringing a special guest, Julian Thornton, who actually just earned his $250,000 a month badge. He's got a really interesting story about how all that came about. If you actually log into the membership and you check the badge roll, that Jules and Jules username, that's him at the top. It's the most recent 30-day badges, and he's at the top for $250K a month, using the exact same training you have access to and that you're just diving into. It's just a matter of taking one thing at a time, putting one foot in front of the other, and doing things. Watch a video, do the lessons, or take the actions, and trust me, this business can be built for yourself. So that's all I have until we want to get to
Actually, I wanted to add, now just so that, like, the last call was at 8 p.m., the rest of the calls are going to be at 4 p.m. Now, we will make announcements if there's any changes to that. So we'll let everyone know in advance, but as of right now, it's always 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And as for the turnaround of the video, because last time the call was so late, we didn't get the video until early morning, but what we do promise is that every morning the video will be added. So, for example, this call will be added to Module 1 training. Now, our goal is to try to get it done tonight, but just in case something happens, we have to reformat video or anything, just to let you know, we will have it done for you in the morning. Now, underneath this video right now, you'll see there's a comment and question area. We don't have that enabled yet because we don't want everyone just bombarding us with questions right away. We are going to enable that in a moment. But one thing to really keep in mind whenever with these questions is we're only focusing on Module 1. Don't be jumping ahead, which we won't need to talk about anyway in this call, but please don't be jumping ahead with questions trying to get answers for other modules. That's not how this is designed. We want to make sure that Module 1 is completely covered, everything is covered, so that we can now, tomorrow morning, when 8 o'clock comes in the morning, the next module opens, we don't have to be worrying about was there things missed with Module 1. So when we do enable that, you're going to be able to start asking questions in there right away. And it is 3 after 4, so I guess we might as well get right into it right now anyway. So really the only thing that I want to cover first is I want to give you an update about the live event. A lot of people have been asking about the live event. And we have, in fact, verified, we needed to do, because of so many people joining, we wanted to make sure that we had everything covered. We needed to verify a few things, and we do have those verified now. The dates will be July 11th, 12th, and 13th. So again, that's Friday, July 11th through to Sunday, July 13th. It's going to be in Las Vegas, Nevada, and it's going to be at the Caesars Palace. Now, don't go ahead and start booking yourself hotel rooms yet, because we are arranging to have discounted, because we're going to get bulk rooms reserved, that you're going to want to wait. So what's going to happen is next Tuesday, there's going to be a registration period. And how the registration period works is this registration period is only going to be available to people that joined a few weeks back. So this is only for you guys now. So we're going to take in as many as you can, and you have, I believe it's 2 weeks to be able to confirm your spot, because we need, obviously, to manage everyone, we need to make sure everyone's confirmed. So what's going to happen is there's going to be a $50 deposit that's required. So when you make that deposit, that shows us that, yes, I am going to this event. So on Tuesday, when you register for that $50 deposit, what's going to happen is the thank you page is then going to show you the hotel confirmation information, so then you can book your room. Then when you get to the live event, when you show up, that's when we're going to be reimbursing that $50. So I think that everything's correct. I don't know if there's anything I missed on that, Matt.
Yeah, had to unmute myself real quick. Yeah, I just want to touch on a little bit live event. I want to cover a few things related to that before we move on. So first off, we just released some data that we had pulled, and we actually released it inside of the advanced Facebook group where all the other amazing Selling Machine members have access to, that you get access to as soon as Module 5 goes live. So you obviously have that to look forward to. But we released some really cool data. We basically pulled all the data from the people that attended one of the past live events versus didn't attend one of the past live events. And here's what we found. First off, people that attended the live event make, on average, 91% more from their business than people that don't attend. Attending a live event, 91% more money than people that don't attend. Now, so you may be thinking like, I don't know if I want to go to a live event. Maybe I'll catch the recordings. Maybe I'll do a live stream, which is all fine. You can do all that if you absolutely cannot make it. But trust me, you want to make it. Your ticket to the live event is included. And it's in Vegas, which is one of the easier places, if not the easiest place in the entire U.S. to get to, whether you're coming from somewhere in the U.S. or you're coming from outside the U.S. And it's a great place to check out, especially if you haven't been. It's going to be at a great venue, all that sort of good stuff. So really want to try if you can come. So that was the first stat. 91% more money. The people that attend the live event make 91% more than the people that don't attend. And then check out this one. This is the second major stat. There are more than triple, 3 times the number of people at the $25,000 to $100,000 plus, which includes people like Julian, who you'll be hearing from, at $250,000 plus, includes people all the way up to the $1 million level. There are more than triple the number of people at that level that attend the live event than those that don't attend. Now, you can extrapolate the data and make whatever assumptions you want, but I mean, it's pretty clear that going to the live event helps you do better, and it's indicative of your commitment to this business. So once again, it's included with this, and the best thing is that it's all advanced information. It's not just a rehash of what's inside of the 8-week course that you're really just getting started with, but it's not a rehash. It's after all this. It's after you graduate from the 8-week web class, which just means after the 8 weeks are live events. So you've been through all that training, or at least you are familiar with the business. Then we cover other ways to grow and scale and outsource and all that good stuff, your business, using this business model. It's really your only opportunity to get in a room of, I mean, heck, this time we may have up to 3,000 people, all amazing Selling Machine members. That's it. Nobody else is allowed to come. We don't sell tickets on Facebook or any of that sort of stuff. Only amazing Selling Machine students are the ones that are allowed to come to this event. And because of that, I mean, you won't believe the camaraderie. I mean, actually, Julian, he'll probably tell you about this when we bring him on here in a few minutes. But he was just telling us behind the scenes before we got started how amazing the live event was, especially compared to other events that you may have been to, sort of related to selling things online and whatnot. I mean, it's an amazing thing. We handpick experts that are specifically can add value to someone doing this business. We don't just randomly let people come. We don't just let friends and whatnot come. We're very strict about who we let come speak and the topics that they can speak on, because we don't want it to waste your time. And so it's just an amazing thing that you really want to try to make. And like Jason said, we're going to be opening up registration. Did you say next week, Jason? Sure, he has to unmute himself.
Sorry, yes. The goal is to have it available Tuesday, and something really important to mention too. A few people have asked, "Can I bring a guest?" No. The plan here, well, the way it's always been, not the plan, is when you bought your Amazing Selling Machine access, you also bought one ticket to the live event. Now, depending on how many people register for the event, if we have any openings, you can pay for your guests to come. The problem is we have to first make priority so that all members who have a ticket already will be able to have access. So we definitely can't sell any guest passes until we know for a fact that all slots, there's slots available. So please don't contact our support or anything right now wondering about guest spots. We will notify everyone once those come available. So unless you have a medical condition, for example, say you're in a wheelchair or something like that where you require a second person to assist you, we can make that work. Then you will let support then you will notify support. Sorry, I couldn't get that out. So again, guest pass will not be allowed. However, if you have a specific medical condition that requires you to have another person there to help you, contact support and we can make that work. But this initial registration period, which is important too, because we need your commitment, meaning that's why there's the $50, because this is you'll see once you go to the event, this is a big thing that we put on, really focused on ensuring that you meet people, you get amazing training, and when you leave this event, your business is going to be better for it. So we really put a lot into this. So we need to be guaranteed that we know within a small percentage of how many people are showing. So it's really crucial when we open the doors for the registration next week that you register for that as soon as possible if you know you're going. That's all I had to add about the live event.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's all I really need to cover about the live event. So just one other quick up. What's that, Jason?
Well, let me add one thing about that, just so that people are wondering how they'll be notified. When you next week, when you log into your members area on the dashboard page, you'll see an announcement on there. Plus, we will email and post it in the community section as well, too. So we will make sure to clearly communicate to you when that opens, so you don't have to worry about that. So I have nothing else on the live event, Matt.
Yeah, so the only other major update that I have before we get into bringing these guys on is make sure you go ahead, and most of you all have probably already done this, but make sure you earn your profile setup badge, which remember is in the first steps section of the welcome module. If you just click on the welcome module inside of Amazing Academy, once you're inside the Amazing Selling Machine, click on the welcome module, the first steps lesson, it'll teach you how to earn your profile setup badge, and then make sure that you earn your Seller Central setup badge, which is in Module 1, the module that we're talking about here on this call. Make sure you earn that badge too, because within a few days, it's we're basically we have to, anyways, within a few days, we're going to be incorporating an upgraded version of the Profit Spotlight into your membership. But you need to earn those 2 badges to unlock it, because in reality, finding products and whatnot is not a concern until you get your Seller Central account set up, and in our opinion, until you start interacting with the community. It doesn't matter. So you have no reason to even be using that, or honestly, Module 2, until you get your Seller Central account set up. Remember, it's free for the first 30 days, so you have 30 days, and you can cancel it anytime you want, and after that, it's only $40 a month. So go get that set up right away, as fast as you possibly can, earn those 2 badges, and then win that Profit Spotlight upgraded version. It's not the one that we released in during when we had free videos going. Like, this is an upgraded version. When we release that, the way you'll unlock it is by earning those first 2 badges. If you've already earned them, then once it's released in the membership, you'll be able to access it, and it'll all be automatic. So make sure you earn those 2 things right away. Do it right now. Do it after this call. Either way, so you're ready to go when that gets released. So that was the only other major update I had right now.
Yeah, and just one small thing to add on that. Really remember, the reason why we're really pushing you to earn those badges is because you want that momentum. You really need to start taking the action, and if you're sitting there find yourself, oh, I'll do that later, then you're not really treating this business as a priority like you promised yourself you would. So that's what these badges are for, is to really keep you motivated and moving forward. So I highly encourage you, at least get those steps done ASAP, and you'll see that the momentum and the fact that you're making progress is really going to add a lot of energy to you moving forward. So what we're going to talk about next here, and Matt, I don't know if, I guess maybe we should enable the questions now, since we're going to be getting into some of the meat, if you want to take care of that. So what we're going to be covering now is actually Rich Henderson, our mighty Head Mentor is going to be covering a very solid topic that a lot of people have been struggling with this week, and that's getting set up outside of the USA, and which is cool that Julian, who's on this call, is actually out of the USA too, outside of the USA. So we have extra credentials, if you could say, to help really answer these questions if needed. But I think Rich, he's definitely our in-house expert at setting this stuff up. So I'm going to hand it over to him, and he's going to cover mainly the main points that people have been struggling with about getting set up outside the USA. We're going to, within that 15-second delay, you should see underneath that the comments get enabled. And so you could start asking questions related to them. But remember, before you ask any questions, please, please, please keep them focused on the content of this call only. Nothing to do with any future or past modules. So, Rich, are you there?
I am indeed. Can you hear me?
I am. Now, Rich, I have a couple solid questions to ask, but I don't know if maybe you already had planned some things that you wanted to cover.
Before we start, I just wanted to cover the thing that's confusing most people is what they need depending on where they are. So
okay.
I can cover that first, and it will actually hopefully answer a lot of the questions anyway.
Sure.
Okay. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world, your country is going to be in one of three different categories. You're either in the US or in the list of countries that are underneath the video for getting set up outside the US. And that basically applies to the UK, any European country that uses the euro, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, struggling, Hong Kong, and India. So if you're in any of those countries, you can ignore everything. All you need to do is do exactly what it was shown in Matt's video on getting set up within Seller Central. You don't need a bank account. You don't need an American bank account. You don't need Payoneer, you don't need Will First, and you don't need a US address. Just use all your local information, including your credit card. The second group is if your country isn't in that list of countries, but when you go to add your address, your country is in the drop-down. In other words, so you can select your own country inside Seller Central. Then, again, you do not need a US address. But what you do need is you need either a US-based bank account, or you need Payoneer, or you need World First. You need one of those three services. If you can get your local bank to create a US-based account for you, and remember, that's US-based. It's not a US currency account. Those are two different things. But if your local bank, HSBC in most countries will do it for you, if they will set up a US bank for you, US-based bank, sorry, then go with that. That is the best option. After that, if you can't get that, then choose either Payoneer or World First. If you've got an inkling you're going to be going for supplements, selling some kind of health supplement or weight loss supplement or something along those lines, then choose World First because Payoneer won't allow you. But the important thing to remember there is, if you go with Payoneer, it doesn't cost you anything to get set up. And if you find out you have to change to World First, you can change to World First. You can pretty much change anything inside your Amazon account, so don't let it worry you. The last section is actually a small number of countries that their country does not appear in the drop-down menu inside when you try to put your address in. Off the top of my head, I can't think of many, but I think Malaysia is one of them, Romania. But if your country does not appear in the drop-down, then you do need to get a US address. And it's kind of weird how it works, but it works. And basically what you do, and you can go in the form and get all this information if you're not sure, but basically you get a US-based address, you use that as your address inside Seller Central, and you also use that address for your credit card, but you use your own country's credit card. Use your local credit card. Don't worry about the address not matching. Okay? You just need to get that American address. And then you need one of the three services I just mentioned for the second group of grouping. So that's Payoneer, World First, or a US-based bank account. And it doesn't matter where you are, you will fall into one of those three categories. And please, if you've got any questions, ask them here tonight if we can cover them all. Or if you go and look in the forum, there's an entire section just for US getting set up outside the USA. And not only am I in there all the time, the other mentors are in there. Many of them are from outside the US too. You've also got a lot of members that have already got set up. So we're there to help you. I'm very proud of the fact that since we started ASM1, we have not had a single member refuse to sell a Central account because of where they are. Okay? Not one. And you're not going to be the first one. Okay, so whatever happens, don't panic. You can change anything anytime, and any kind of problems whatsoever, just go into the community and we're all there to help you. But that was basically what I wanted to cover, Jason. So if there's any other questions, obviously, then we can cover them too.
Yeah, actually there was. Just give me 1 second here. I was answering a few questions, and I did see this one. I'm based in the UK, and I'm not going to answer a lot of questions right now, but I thought this one was relevant. I'm based in the UK and set up my Amazon account using my UK address. Does this restrict me to selling in the UK, or do I need a US address to sell in the US?
No, not at all. That was probably asked before I went through all that.
Yes, it was.
The only way you ever need a US address is if when you set up your Seller Central account, your country is not in the drop-down. Okay? You do not need a US address otherwise. Actually, it is a good question, though, because a lot of people are asking about the returns address, the return shipping address. You can actually leave that blank. You do not need to fill that in. That's another question that does come up quite a lot.
Okay, cool. And I don't really see any other questions that you didn't answer on that, so cool. Thank you very much. I hope that was helpful to everyone. So the next thing on our agenda that we're going to get into right here is, Matt, if you could do us a favor and introduce our special guest.
Sure, absolutely. So, you know, we like I mentioned at the beginning of the call, we have the advanced Facebook group that you all get access to as soon as Module 5 gets live. It's extremely active, like you'll see. I don't know, I've never looked because Facebook doesn't really make the data easy to see, but there are tons and tons of posts every single day, like the one where people are sharing success stories, like we'll see hundreds of likes and that kind of thing. So I would log into Facebook, and I'm in that group, obviously. I kept seeing Julian's messages pop up. I saw he was at like $100-something thousand, then like a few days later it was like $250,000. I was like, holy crap! I was like, we've got to get this guy on a call to find out what's going on and how he did it and all that sort of good stuff. So we reached out to him, and he's definitely was willing to jump on here with us. So he's extremely successful with this business. He's had a pretty wild ride getting to where he's at, and it's just absolutely blowing up for him, doing extremely well. Once again, came through the same exact training as you all. He's actually from Australia, so it's fairly early in the morning there, I guess. He's joining us today. So Julian, maybe you want to unmute and show your video. Looks like he's coming online here. Probably take a few seconds. There he is.
Yeah, guys.
Oh, cool. There you are.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you changed your shirt. You got fancy hair. You did all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I thought a better. The hoodie wasn't working for me.
All right, cool. So, Julian, maybe just tell him, just to get things started, tell him a little bit about your story, when you joined, why you joined, and how all with doing this business.
Well, initially, I actually heard about you guys from some obscure little list in Adelaide. Two guys in Adelaide, the Chalker brothers, and it came through, and I thought, I've got to do this because I need a real business, and because I'm sick and tired. Well, I'm 45, sick and tired of doing the property investment consulting work that I've been doing the last sort of 7 or 8 years, and just pretty disillusioned with everything, and so I turned to Julie and said, "Oh, I'm going to Julie's my partner. We work together, so it's not really just me. It's Jules and Jules when she's here." But yeah, and I told Jules about it, and I said, "Oh, I'm going to Austin, Texas in what was it, June or May, whatever it was, last year." And she said, "What for?" And I said, "Oh, for this Amazon business." And she's been consulting in fashion for the last 25 years, so she's just looked at the video and said, "I'm coming too." And I was so surprised because she comes from a very much more traditional background. Then we did the modules, and we were going to go into clothing because we were so used to that, and totally ignored the fact that we shouldn't be going into a category that needed approval. First mistake. It took us 17 weeks to get a live product from China in shapewear. The product arrived. Amazon lost half of our stock. That's the thing I didn't tell you, Matt, before. So our product was stuffed, and then we finally got another product up and running. We listed it July 23rd. We didn't actually start getting the stock live until I think early September. So for the people on the call that are well, we're probably one of the worst starters in ASM history, I'd imagine. But we went to the event and certainly got inspired from the people we met. Jules went on the China trip. You know, got great information from that as well. So we just kept sticking at it. Then we started to sell 5 a day, then 10 a day, and then we ran out of stock because we ended like 500 units or something like that. Then we put an order in for 1,500, and then we ran out of stock again. And I think it was about 3 weeks of December, we had no stock. And then we had to reorder again, and we landed in Los Angeles on January the 12th, going to the ASM2 event. And that very same day, the product went live again. And we were a bit concerned because we'd seen posts on Facebook saying, "Oh, I've gone out of stock and my sales never recovered," and all this kind of thing. And we sold 5 the first day, I think 12 the second day. We'd only been up to 16 units a day, I think had been our best number. And then while we were at the event, we basically rose up to over 30 a day, which was amazing. And you know, we're starting to feel pretty confident then that we could, you know, scale it. And the only thing I can put it down to, and I've been posting about this online, I think a lot of people actually don't believe me, but I have actually just used the ASM tools. We pay a Philippine guy $150 a week. So he's $3 an hour. He's awesome. It took me about 15 or 20 outsources to get him, like trying different guys. And all he's done every day is the URL boost. He's done the promotional tools. We trained him on promotion plan A and B, and he's consistently done that since probably mid-September, late September. We've done no Facebook ads, no Google ads, nothing sophisticated. I mean, we are not sophisticated, are we, Jules? I mean, like we, you know, we just have to follow the steps. And certainly going to the event, if you even question it, there's no doubt you've got to go to the event because you just get so many different perspectives from the different people. You make great friends, and then you can get support from them on the Facebook forums and on Skype, whatever, if you hit some trouble, which is pretty likely. So it's just a fact that you might have some trouble at some point. But you just got to grow through it, and you know, you become better and better all the time, and the results that we've got are just, well, they're amazing. You call it the amazing selling machine for a reason. So, hang on, Jules, will you? No, it's all good. Did you want to ask me anything else?
Yeah, so that was great. Thank you for that. So, you know, the pretty much all these people on the call are, you know, they've just joined Amazing Selling Machine. They've just been through. This is the last day of, you know, really the first week. So they've been through the pre-class stuff. They've been through all of Module 1, you know, which is all about getting set up and whatnot. Module 2 releases tomorrow about finding a product to sell. So based off of where these people are at, what advice do you have for them to help them? Because you obviously had a big product selection issue at first. So what advice do you have for them to sort of avoid some of the issues that you faced? And
my advice is don't do what we did. Sorry. My advice is don't do what we did, which was, you know, we went to China first off, took a big risk there, put in a big order, spent a lot of money, then found another local product in the US, got the first supplier we sort of thought was okay, because we got desperate in terms of wanting to get a supplier. What we've been doing with our group here is making sure that they're finding as many suppliers as they can get. Don't bother emailing, ring them, have a conversation, see who gets back to you. See who's got good pricing, who will negotiate and be on your side. You know, they're going to be on the same page in terms of having at least some flexibility. Yeah, if they're just going to say, "Oh no, it's 10,000 units, that's it," well, stuff them. Go find someone else. There's plenty of people out there. You know, just keep looking and asking and for help in the forum or on the fan page. You know, it's the more suppliers you speak to, the better. Because what I've found is that as you talk to more suppliers and you ask them about what's unique about that particular product in that niche, then you can start working on your marketing as well, because you know that if you've got something that's unique about that product, you've got a better pitch to put in your USP. So you start building your knowledge as you're talking to the suppliers, and a good supplier will say, well, hey, you know, this is why this product's better than everything else in the market because of A, B, C, D. You're building up your tools and your ammunition to be able to launch effectively and beat the competition. So That's what we're doing now. That's what we've learned for the last 12 months, just to do that.
Cool. So I'm trying to look here. Jason, I don't know if you've been seeing any questions for Julie. I guess here's one.
One question I see here is, are you still selling clothes?
Oh, shit, yeah. Oh, excuse me. Yes, we are. We're not in stock at the moment, but the plan is to definitely do clothes and you know, the funny thing is what we're doing now in the beauty niche is a bit of a practice run, so it's kind of funny. You know,
I guess, you know, my question to you about all this, because what I got out of this is, first of all, again, you know, repeating theme for everyone here: follow the system. I mean, we actually even asked him before this, what do you think the main thing, and he admitted, like, he was taking control of things himself, kind of not following the system. So I guess I just answered that question for you. But what I really like too is, they just kept at it. They had some roadblocks. Now, they joined last March, I believe it was, right? Yeah. And through struggle, self-induced and whatnot, they actually didn't start really selling until, what was it, September?
Yeah, just early September.
Yeah, I was listening.
We're doing 1 or 2 a day.
And so now, all of a sudden, you know, things have started ramping up. And one of the things, now, for those of you that maybe heard that call when we did, you know, some of the videos when we were first educating everyone about what the Amazing Selling Machine was something that a gentleman named Trent said on a call, which I'm hearing Julian say too, is they use the promotion tools every day. That means the tools that we've provided you, it's not like they go in there and they do a couple of things and then walk away and say, oh, this crap doesn't work. You know, what he's saying is he's using it every day, and that's how they're designed. Like for the press release tool, for example, you're allowed to submit 3 every single day. So the idea here is get ready for that when you get into that, because no matter what business you look at, they are marketing. You know, even well-named brands like Coca-Cola, they're constantly brand recognition marketing. They're always getting their name out there. They want, you know, remember, one of the ideas of marketing isn't about link building. It's also brand recognition, meaning your job is to make it so people know that name. So when they see that product, it's already ingrained in their mind that they understand that that product represents this topic. Now, of course, that's not going to take off immediately, but as you can see here, someone who in the last few months has been able to grow their business from pretty much nothing to now, I think you guys were awarded the 250 badge?
Yeah, well, we've peaked at 290.
So there you go.
So I'm running out of stock.
So just for everyone listening, you know, really take into heart, like, follow the system and use what we've given you, and it works. So cool. I don't know, Matt, if I have to refresh the page here, if you have any questions that came up.
Yeah, I got a quick question from Chris Cabo. Says, what are you having you? Because I guess it was a little unclear for him. What are you having your Filipino person do for promotion? Which, just to let everyone know, I'll let you talk about it here just a second. But I mean, basically, like he's using the tools that you all will have access to mostly when Module 5 hits. But maybe if you can get a little more detail or something.
Well, first, I was going to say before that the best thing we did was get an outsourcer, and because I did a couple of the alliance tools. I did I tried to get my head around the promotion plan A and B, but sorry, Jason, I'm just not like, you know, I'm hopeless at it. So I had to get someone to do it because it was just driving me mental. So what I did was I got on Odesk and put up an ad for someone who understood this stuff. I recorded some videos, put it in a Dropbox, and basically what I've got him doing is he's doing the alliance tool for us, so like voting up and down reviews and the tweets and all that sort of stuff. He's putting the URLs into URL Boost and putting all the content into the traffic robot. Now, we haven't started doing this more consistent stuff in terms of content creation, because basically what I'm implementing now is we're writing an article, turn the article into an audio, which is then turned into a video, upload the audio to a podcast, upload the video to Wistia and YouTube, put up a better version of the article as a blog post with optimized images, So we've got that process in place. So even if you just did one article a week, you can sort of refurbish that into lots of different types of content. Then when you've got the URL of the content, the VA is then going to put it through URL Boost. He's going to put all the content through Traffic Robot. But then what we do is write press releases on each of the individual content as well. And we've got a Newswire account that we send that out through to, as well as Traffic Robot. So that's our new process, and I think it's going to work so well, because all we did last September, Jason, was I think we did 2 videos, I think about 3 or 4 press releases, a couple of articles, maybe 5 articles. I think that's it. So that's all, and we've had him promoting the review URLs as well. I don't understand super URLs. I mean, honestly, I'm a bit of an idiot, to be honest, when it comes to this stuff. But what I've realised is that if we can be successful with what we've done, if we scale that content creation, I think you're just going to build such a solid business around it. And that's the plan with whatever products we do now, is just keep doing that. So we're going to put on a couple more VAs to help us with the new products that we're launching.
Cool. So, yeah.
Answer the question.
A couple questions for that. Now you mentioned, just so for everyone that knows on the call, when we reference numbers, for example badges, those are always gross revenue. So that means just the total revenue generated. So with that question asked, because usually it's always around the same number, Julian, what is your average net profit on that?
Well, per unit, it's about $30.
So any idea of percentage-wise?
Sorry, what do you mean?
Like how much, like, so for basically what you're selling the product for, all of its costs, to what you're getting back as your net profit?
Well, the $30 is what we make per unit.
Okay.
So that's the only way I understand it. I told you, I'm not that smart. So, you know, we sell for the unit for $39. It costs us about $10.
Okay. So, well, there you go. So
that's after everything. That's after Amazon everything.
All right. So cool. So that's actually very good. That's more like a 65% maybe. So cool.
Yeah,
so
I'm terrible at math, mate. So, yeah, it's an amazing business, like amazing.
So when you mentioned that restocking issue with the supplier, and you mentioned something about losing some inventory.
Yeah, we shipped when we finally got the clothing shipped from China. It finally arrived, and then after about a week, we realised that half of it was missing, and it took 3 months for Amazon to get back to us to credit us for the stock that they lost. So it stuffed that product. Fortunately, the other product started to sell. But yeah, we had all kinds of problems with that. But we're not giving up on the clothing at all. We've found new suppliers, and you know, we'll slowly build that up over the next 12 months.
Excellent. Cool. Now this is a good question, and I mean, well, no, we'll wait for the question and answer. Anything else related directly to Jillian that you can see, Matt?
Nope, I don't have anything else. I'm sure we could ask him questions all day long that people keep asking, but nothing super major that I think would really be very, very useful for this module.
Okay, so we definitely have quite a few questions that came in. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do is I've got a list of a bunch of questions I've been flagging, and I'm going to ask right now to go through. But if you have a specific question for Julian, if you could actually put in the front of your question for Julian, just so that we can identify it and see it better, so that we could ask him. But we're going to go through some Q&A, and then once the Q&A is done, if we have time, we'll get some more questions. So the first question I have here is product selection. So when you say we should look for a highly competitive product, what exactly makes a product highly competitive? So Matt, I don't know if you could take that one.
Yeah, sure. So wait, so the question is, like, what makes a product competitive, or why highly competitive?
Well, I think you know what, I've seen another question actually ask the why. So could you answer both?
The reason why a highly competitive product, because it doesn't matter if you're the most well-optimized, best product ever made. that'll sell a maximum of 1 unit a month. I mean, nobody cares. You can't make any money that way. Like, you want to sell a product that actually has volume, so that when you learn how to outmarket them, like what we teach in Amazing Selling Machine, then you will actually have room for growth, meaning that you may start off being nowhere ranked anywhere, which is fine. You may still start getting sales like that, but once you start getting the marketing engine in place, and you want to be able to keep climbing and climbing and climbing with more promotion, kind of like you heard from Julian, more promotion, more sales, more promotion, more sales. You don't want to hit that ceiling very early on. So you're much better off going into a highly competitive market. It's weird. You'd think the math would make sense either way, but it seems to be that people make more money being a smaller piece of a bigger pie and on their way up to being a bigger piece of that pie than they do of being, a giant player in a little tiny market. Like, you're much better off being in a bigger market. We've proved it ourselves. Other people have proved it. You're better off going to the potentially most competitive markets you can find. Now, granted, you don't want to depend on this at all, but every once in a while you'll come across some crazy opportunity that not many people have found before. Reviews are really low, sales are really high, and sure, you can jump on that. But that's not something you should depend on. It's not pretty much how almost anybody has actually achieved the level of success that they have. It's choosing a competitive product and outselling everyone else. That's where all the volume is. And the other question is how you choose a competitor. What's the other part?
I want to go look at the question, and this one is kind of borderline for this module now that I think about it too, but basically what makes a product highly competitive?
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to go into all that right now. Like, it's all Module 2, but it's based off the number of reviews and a lot of other stuff you'll learn all in Module 2.
Yeah, that was my bad. I jumped the gun on that. Here we got some account setup questions. So, do we need to set up a business, LLC, Corp, or S Corp, for our business, and should we use that when creating our Seller Central account? Now, before we answer this, remember, anything we answer in regards to anything to do with legal or otherwise, we need you to clearly understand we are not lawyers, we are not professional legal people at all. We are simply sharing our opinion of things that we've done. As with anything legal, please check with your own professional legal counsel. Now, with that being set up, the answer that I give people is no. You can start with your own personal information. The way I look at it is you want to have your initial money, because setting up an LLC, getting all that stuff started, some of you, if you have lots of finances available, lots of money, cash flow, then yeah. But for those of you that are on a stricter starting budget, your goal right now is to get product. So once you get your account set up and all that kind of stuff, you're going to want to order your inventory. Now, if you're going to have to spend $600 to $1,000 on getting your LLC set up and all that kind of stuff, that's money that could have been used for inventory. The thing to remember is do your due diligence. This is all covered in the other modules. But once you have your product selling and revenue started, that's when you can start reinvesting to actually establish your business entity and all those kind of things. Now, again, don't hold me accountable for that advice. That's what I do, and that's what I've actually recommended my family members do as well, because it works well. And remember, when your product starts selling, it's not like, if you've done your due diligence, you're going to be fine. Like, people aren't going to try ripping you off right away. I mean, you got to get your product going. Eventually, I highly recommend that you get yourself incorporated somewhere, protect yourself, because what happens if you don't have a corporation or an LLC, then if anything does happen, it can go directly to you. You want that entity, being the corporation, to be your in-between. So you're eventually going to want to get that set up. Now, for people that are wondering, well, can I change my Amazon seller account over to that information? Yes, all you have to do is contact seller support and tell them at that time you need to change the legal entity tied to your account because you've since upgraded to a corporation, and they'll help you through that process. It's not something you can just go in and manually edit. You have to contact seller support, but it's done easily. Anything on that, Matt, or anybody else that I might have missed?
Nope. I think we're all good. But I think we should probably bring in Rich and Mike whenever they want to unmute themselves and show their videos.
Yes. So next question. Well, and this one we can't. I don't know, Matt, if you want to answer this one. Basically, what type of business structure would you recommend, and which states are the best? I have no opinion on that. I don't know if you do.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough question. I mean, it's if you just look that stuff up online, like you'll get a better answer than we can. But yeah, much better off for a lawyer.
Yeah. So can I answered this one, so about the seller name, but what are all of those badges I see people getting, and how can I see what they all mean? So for those of you that are wondering about that, if you go into your Seller Central, sorry, not your Seller Central, your Amazing Academy members area, and if you go to your profile, then you'll see a bunch of tabs across the top, and one of them will say badges, and all the badges are there in a little bit bigger picture, and it actually explains what each of them are. So that's a simple answer for that.
I got a question here. I think we're going to bring in old Mike McClary, been sitting over there quietly. So Mr. Mike, what if, oh wait, no, that's not the question. May I set up a non-pro seller account for less money, the free Amazon Seller Central account on Amazon at this time, and then upgrade it to a pro account when sales really ramp up in the future? What's your opinion?
Sure. My opinion is if you absolutely need to do that, and if you're constrained for money and that's an issue for you, and feel free to do that. However, I know one of the reasons that we like to see people go ahead and set up the professional seller's account is because, again, it's showing a commitment that you are taking action, you have confidence that this business is going to work, because it will if you follow the instructions. So trust me that $39.99 or whatever it is going to seem like a complete blip on the radar in a few months from now. You won't even notice it. So again, if you have to do that, absolutely, that's okay. You can upgrade it later on, but I suggest going ahead and doing it if you can right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are some limitations with that regular account too. So we can't force you to do it, but definitely a much better option going with the professional account, like Mike said.
So, question for Julian: when you spoke to your supplier for the first time, did you disclose that you were selling on Amazon?
Can you hear me now? Yeah, I think we did. Jules has done most of the work with the suppliers, but yeah, we've definitely told them we're on Amazon. Yeah.
Okay, and
we want to find someone that had experience shipping to Amazon. So.
Yeah, no, I definitely would ask that question, and also, how long they'd been in business, how long they'd been shipping to Amazon, and obviously always their packaging options and how long the product takes. If you get down, you really should have. I've written out a list of all the things that you need to check off when you're dealing with suppliers, and because we've made a lot of mistakes dealing with suppliers that hadn't dealt with Amazon before, that became a bit of a headache, or the first order took 3 weeks, but oh sorry, your next one's going to take 10 to 12 weeks. For cash flow purposes, I'm saying to all the guys who are doing the course with us, really try and knock down those lead times, and really make sure that you've got the real deal here in terms of a supplier who's been in business a long time, knows his stuff. Also, the other thing, you want to be with someone that's really good at research and development, so you know that the latest, greatest new products are going to be onto it, because they're obviously in the know in terms of the latest trends. So they're just some of the things, but I'm happy to provide sort of just a general list of what I think are sort of integral things for, and also payment terms. Are you COD? Can we get 30 days credit once we get up and running? All those type of things.
Cool. That's awesome. And actually, we do have a checklist available to everyone that we created, and I did send that out to some people for pre-look, and I'm not sure if we gave that to all members yet, but I'll make sure to get that out with the new module that's releasing once we need to start contacting them. So in order to make sure we're staying with the Module 1 topics, I mean, obviously we appreciate you guys being here. I guess the last question I have, which seems to be coming up a lot, people just, I guess to give them hope, they want to know, Julian, did you guys make most of your money with the clothing stuff, or was it a product that you picked with following the Amazing Selling Machine? You're muted right now.
Sorry, my mistake.
Yes, I mean, my background was in skincare and fashion, and obviously we stuffed up the next product, so I was like getting pretty desperate. And then I just went to your list, guys, and I picked a product and went for it.
Cool. So there you go. Okay, so I don't know if Mike or Matt or Rich, if any of you see any questions that you think we should be addressing.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any major ones that are related to Module 1, but that's only speaking for myself.
This one's a good question. People ask about setting up more than one Amazon seller account. In the same country, you do not want to do that, especially when getting started. I want to cover two things here. Number one, Amazon wants you to have one Seller Central account. If for whatever reason you want to have a second one, there's two options. You can do it according to Amazon's terms, which is contact them and apply for a second account. What they're going to want you to do then is make sure that it's completely validated reason. So for example, if one account is selling, say, dog supplies, then the second account has to be selling a completely different type of product. The second thing to note is both accounts are going to need completely different tax information, completely different banking information. So they'll be treated as completely different accounts. Now actually I might be wrong on the tax information, but I know I'm 100% right on the banking information. Now the other option, which I really shouldn't even get into, but if you wanted to really, really badly, you could use things like IPs and all that to have that separate account. But just a forewarning, if you do that, if Amazon ties you together to owning multiple accounts to one person, they could simply shut off all your accounts. So you got to be really careful with that, and I really don't see a reason why you would need any more than one account to get started with. And one other item I really wanted to answer really quick when we were you know what, actually no, that's a Module 2 question, because again it was about finding competitive products. So any other questions?
Not that I can see right now.
No, I'm just going to refresh the page here one more time. Okay, so what we're going to do while we're looking at questions here is we have also on our agenda, what we do is it's called the Community Helpers. So every week, starting now, we are going to be offering a prize to someone who we feel that week has been the biggest community helper, meaning a member who is in there answering questions and really getting involved. And what that person gets is they get a 30-minute one-on-one call with me to be booked at whenever they need. Now, that can be used at any time too, so you don't need to book it right away. You can book it in 3 months from now if you wanted to. So what that'll be is just me and you will get on Skype. You'll be able to ask me any questions about anything in regard to the Amazon business model, and I'll be there to help you. So what it was this week is the names that we found, and this is thanks to the mentors who have noticed this, and we really appreciate everyone that's mentioned. But the names we have are Joanne Bates, Kimberly McDowell, Marcelo Cardosa, and if I'm butchering names, I truly apologize. Justin B. So these are actually just the community names. Those were 4 names of people that have been really helpful. Now, the name of the winner has already been picked, so the runner-up, the person who it was a hard pick between these people, was Adam Vickland. And this one, really, we were really impressed with just the how much they helped. Actually, I know when Rich woke up and he went into the community, he was like, wow, this guy answered everything that I was going to have to answer. So Adam, really, really appreciate that. But the winner is Michael Haggerty, who has, I don't even know how many, there's been so many, numerous posts, really helping out other members. So Michael, congratulations, thank you very much. You'll be able to just contact support and tell them that you want to schedule a one-on-one with me whenever you're ready. Obviously, it has to fit with my schedule too, so we'll have to work things out that way. But congratulations, Michael, on being the Community Helper of the Week. We really appreciate it. And for everyone else listening, remember, if you're in there and you can help out other members, you could win the Community Helper of the Week. So just something to keep on mind. So unless we're at the end of the call, are there any other questions that we need to cover?
I don't think so. Here's a fairly basic one that we might as well cover. Rich, this is probably best for you. Let me know when you're unmuted. I'm not looking crazy. So Bogdan, I guess, says, any difference between Seller Central account at Amazon.com and at Amazon.co.uk? I noticed one can do both accounts.
Yeah, there's one big difference. They're in different countries. That's it. They're exactly the same. They work exactly the same way. But from my personal experience, and not just because you get told by Matt and Jason, go and use Amazon.com first. Once you've mastered Amazon.com, got your business running, Amazon.co.uk will be an absolute cinch. But there is no difference whatsoever.
Cool.
Now, the one difference, though, is, and I see a question about this asked, is, again, and we mentioned this over and over again, Amazon.com sells a heck of a lot more. Now, I'm sure there's country-specific type products where that might not be the case, but in general, from having experience selling on different platforms, Amazon.com has way more selling opportunities. So that's one of the other reasons why we really encourage you to go there first, because it's much easier to get traction and start making revenue on Amazon.com than any of the other platforms. And the cool thing is, once you have a product selling on Amazon.com, to get it up and selling on, say, Amazon.co.uk is super easy. You basically take the ASIN number, and when you say add product, you pop that in there, and it pre-fills everything for you. Then you just got to fulfill inventory. So it's a really simple process, but get it proven out on Amazon.com first.
So Rich, another one, international question. Monica says, I'm in Canada. I thought I needed to get a U.S.-based account, but from this call, do I not need one? Can I just use a Canadian bank account?
You, being in Canada, you're in the perfect position because you can actually get a US-based bank account really, really easy from your Canadian account. With 2 banks, I think it is.
But you don't even need to do that anymore, Rich.
I was just about to say that before you got it in.
What's that?
Can I finish?
Okay, yes you can.
But the easiest way by far to do it is just to use your own Canadian bank account. As I said at the beginning, Canada falls under one of that list of banks, a list of countries that are approved. So just use your Canadian bank. It's the easiest way. Something I say a lot in the forum, take the path of least resistance early on. It's so much easier just to do to use your local bank than it is to go through the hassle of setting up an American bank. You may want to do that later, but for now, just use your Canadian bank. And the same applies if you're in the UK or any of those other countries. Sorry, Jason.
Oh, no, I'm not forgiving you on that one. Now, just so everyone knows, with that's been a very recent change. So that's why even if you research online, there might be some conflicting information. Amazon only did this within the last little while, where they've opened up many more accounts, such as India, Canada, and that. So that's why. But again, like if you're in a country that your bank account isn't there, as Rich has said, you can use Payoneer or what's the other one? World Bank, I think it is.
World First.
World First. Okay. Just let me double check here. We're right at the hour mark anyway, which is good. So let me just see if there's any really important questions. And just in general, because I mentioned that, I'm sure I raised some flags for some people. I see Jimmy asked, why would Amazon shut your account down? Number one, if you offer terrible customer support. So something to remember as you're going through this, Amazon wants you to offer world-class customer support. And they give you all the metrics to know. They give you plenty of warnings. They're not just going to suddenly shut you down. But if you're not checking, like making sure customers are happy, following up if they submit, an email to you or anything in your Seller Central, you can get into trouble because Amazon really wants to ensure you're offering good quality support. The other thing, there's other things breaking their terms of service, but don't even worry about that. Everything we teach you in the training will have you aligned with having a safe account. And it's not like Amazon just turns off accounts left, right, and center. I mean, obviously, they actually treat you as a seller very, very good. They just want to make sure you're not manipulating things. So when I gave the example earlier about if you have 2 Seller Central accounts, that's specifically against their terms of service. So if you have 2 seller accounts in your same name and they can tie you together to those, they could potentially just shut you down because there's ways people can try to manipulate things that way. So just don't do that. But honestly, there's not a lot of, and I don't even like mention this because I feel like it's a negative and it really, is nothing to worry about. You're going to be fine. Just run it, follow our training, and run it like a real business, and you'll be perfectly fine. I think I'm pretty much done for the questions here, guys. Obviously, if there's other questions that we've missed, I mean, hopefully in the forum and everything, we can cover them. I see there's, a lot of little questions here, especially to do with other modules. We're not going to be covering those. And no, I'm sorry. Like one thing to really note here, please don't ask, the categories and the specific products of the guests on the call. That's really, we don't pay them, we don't ask them to be here. I mean, so we don't incentivize them to be here. We simply ask as a favor, and we don't really want them revealing everything they're doing, because sadly there will be people who are just looking for opportunities like that to jump on. So we will not reveal the products that people are selling that are our guests, because that's just not fair to them. So the people that have asked that, I'm not answering that. But other than that, thank you, Julian, very much for taking the time. I know it's early in the morning there in Australia, so really appreciate it. And cool. And unless there's anything else, I'll hand it over to Matt and let you close her out.
Sure. Thanks, Jason. So yeah, once again, thanks, Julian. Thanks, Rich and Mike, for joining us. So yeah, just I'll close it out, but just one little small thing. People are asking about the seller display name can be changed anytime, and then a lot of people are asking, like, what if I have multiple product lines, and what if I need to have these different businesses and all this sort of stuff? Your biggest money is going to come from not doing all that. Stay focused. Focus on just a few products that fit all the criteria. When you're getting started, just one product. Don't do anything else. Nothing else. No product lines. No, I'm going to build out this massive brand and sell 40 different products under it. No, they're going to get into multiple markets. Like, don't worry about any of that stuff. One product. Remember, Red Bull, billion-dollar company. They only had one product. They just now barely have a different size and a diet drink. You don't need a lot of products. Only one. So you can change your seller name anytime, but don't overcomplicate things. As entrepreneurs, like, we think we're all in, creating these products and doing all this stuff because we want to make money. But a lot of it's because of the creativity it allows that a lot of times jobs don't. And so we get caught up in the product creation and brand creation and whatnot, and forget to actually build the long-term focused business where operations aren't crazy because you're actually focusing, and your profit margins are high because you're focusing. So just take that with you when you're setting up your account, when in this Module 2 that releases tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern, when choosing your product to sell. Don't get caught up. Just focus on one product. Make a decision as quickly as you possibly can. Please, for my sake, do not be a person who months later is still trying to pick a product. Have a goal of picking a product as soon as you get done watching all the videos in Module 2. That's all it's about, is picking a product. Try to pick a product as soon as all that's done. Make that your goal. Now, in Module 3, you'll be contacting suppliers. You may get some new information. So sure, that may change your selection, but still make that your goal, to have a product ready to go, picking a supplier when Module 3 hits. So Module 2 is live tomorrow. So thanks, guys, for joining, and that's all from me. I will see you all soon.